Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Farah Asif. I'm the founder, curator of Global Women Insight. I'm also founder, president of Institute of Peace and Diplomatic Studies as well. Today, I'm joined by a wonderful colleague of mine. I met her when I was there in Cody for my Global Change Leadership Fellowship. And she's an amazing, amazing human being. Her name is Adah. And Adah is an educationist, peace and human rights activist, and she is also the CEO of Mother of Hope Cameroon. So let us introduce her into the broadcast as well. And if you have any questions and you want to know about Cameroon, you should be asking a lot of questions from her. Okay, so let's welcome Adah, my very dear friend and a colleague, and my sister as well. So we will be having a lot of fun, and of course we will be understanding about the dynamics of how the women in Cameroon and Africa region are playing their role in creating a lot of wonderful spaces for the young generation and how they're working. So welcome to the broadcast. Welcome, Adah. Thank you so much for your consent, for being part of this amazing conversation call. My question would be from you that how the journey that you have started, Adah, as I know, we have spent 2 months together in Canada, in Cody Institute, where we were both together in GCL. But I would like you to share your own experiences, your life story, with friends of mine and those who are listening to us right now from across the globe, and of course in Pakistan.
Oh, thank you very much, Fahad. I'm so grateful, everyone, to be here today. It's been a wonderful time having you see us and talk with you. And I am Adah Mbah. I am the Executive Director of Mother of Hope Cameroon. I'm an educationist and a peace activist, and I'm glad to be here. My journey as an educationist actually streams down to about 20 years of experience, and I've been a secondary school and high school teacher, and I had the opportunity to mentor and to teach young people. In my course of doing what was noble in changing minds, I got the opportunity of starting starting club activities where I could be able to meet especially the young girls to discuss certain issues that pertained to their lifestyles. So as a teacher, I actually created the Peace and Human Rights Club. I was part of the Commonwealth clubs in the many schools which I taught, because I've been able to teach in 2 secondary schools for the past 20 years. And I have been a club coordinator, and I have been mentoring more than 3,000 young people. So in the clubs, we actually had lots of things to share, because we created a safe space, especially to the marginalized young girls who were living in under real conditions of violence. Some of them had difficulties in acquiring more knowledge in education, and some of them were really stuck in so many things. And I thought that it was a good space for me to give back in the school that I am teaching and in my community as a social corporate responsibility. So as a social corporate responsibility, I've decided to create peace clubs in 25 institutions. And in these peace clubs, we had to train the children on basic concepts of conflict management, on mediation, also on anger, forgiveness, those basic concepts that the children needed to be able to live in the school environment. Because at that time, I found that there was a lot of violence in the school milieu. We had sexual harassment, We had lots of deviant behaviors, and lots of young people had indulged into drugs. And so it became difficult for the administration and the teachers to navigate their space and teach the children accurately. In the school where I taught as a history and citizenship teacher, I actually indulged in civic participation in building the capacity of young people as future leaders. And I was part of the Commonwealth Club, where we taught the children basic values of the Commonwealth and indulged young people to be active members in the Commonwealth. So we had activities like debate, we had drawing, we also had lots of inter-school competitions where the children had fun. And I was opportune to bring so many trophies in the schools where I coordinated. And most of the children that I coordinated have come out to be different, and most of them are grateful. I hope they are watching and they can be able to comment and tell the world what we have been able to do in their lives. It wouldn't have been very possible if I didn't have my wonderful colleagues with me, because I also had women like me who had the passion to drill the children, to teach them the basic concepts in life. And we all together brought our voices together and carried out these activities in the school. At that time, it was just in the school. We listened to the stories, especially of the young girls, and then we tried to relay these problems with their homes in solving these issues. And I think I'm grateful to say that I was very, very opportune to reconcile many young people with their mothers, especially the girls, because I found that most of the girls had issues with their mothers. And so I was opportune to do that to thousands of young girls. And so from there, we now discovered that there was a lot of conflict in the community, and we had to move into the community. As an activist that I am, and a human rights educator, we had to be able to bring certain concepts of human rights to teach them the basic rights that they needed. And so we realized that in the community, there was conflict, and we now had the need to go to the community. And that is how Mother of Hope was created. Mother of Hope came from the concept of getting to talk to marginalized young women and young girls, trying to engage them and bring them on board, and trying to break the silence that existed in the communities. It was all at building the leadership of the grassroots woman. It was meant at educating the young and the older women, that is bridging the intergenerational gap that existed between them, placing in front of them mentors that could be able to drill them so that they will become future leaders. Because as I tell you, there are many, many older women who have young girls they are mentoring as a result of our work. So Mother of Hope Cameroon was actually registered in 2010, and finally as a common initiative group, and finally moved as an association in 2015. And we have been able to carry out activities in the domains of gender-based violence, in education, in health, talking about sexual reproductive health of young people and women, and also in the domain of peace building. At the moment, our activities are focused on peace building, and we are talking and trying to link the work that we've been doing for the past 10 years to reflect what is on the ground. I think that's Fahad. From here, I will stop and get my next question. Thank you. Okay, I will continue to talk about some of the achievements of Mother of Hope. Mother of Hope has been able to achieve lots of awards. We've also been able to create more partnership with government, civil society, and also other private and personal friends who have been able to drill our work. And so it's been a wonderful journey. We had the opportunity to be recognized by the Minister of Women's Empowerment for the work that we're doing. We had the opportunity to be recognized by Plan International Cameroon for the work that we're doing. We had the opportunity to be recognized by the Minister of Youth Affairs for the work that we're doing. There are lots of things that Mother of Hope has been able to do. And we are grateful that we had the space, we had the population to listen to us. And that was the base of the peace building work which we are doing. Because if you do not have a grassroots touch, you cannot talk about peace building. And that is the reason of our peace building actions. Because the population that we were working with have been touched by the crisis. The children cannot go to school. The women are actually not around. They are in other communities. We find that they live in other neighboring towns as internally displaced women with their families. And so we have the opportunity, we have the priority to go to those places and meet them. Because as our name signifies, we are an organization that gives hopes. We give hope to the hopeless.
Thank you.
And so whether you are in what part of Cameroon, we'll make sure that we'll meet you.
Oh,
thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Adah. This was such a comprehensive introduction of yours. Especially those people who are listening to us right now from any part of the world, they might want to know that what Cameroon's social structure is all about. For example, what are your living conditions and status in the societies, and how the status of the woman in Cameroon, because there are many people who might be interested to know, especially Cameroon's dynamics, and currently what are the conditions right now there in the country, in the city where you are living right now. So they might be interested to know about that as well.
Yes, thank you, Fahad. In the city where I am living, it's known as Bamenda. And Bamenda is found in the northwest region of Cameroon. And the people of the northwest region are such a hospitality, they are full of hospitality. They're peace-loving people, and they are very hardworking. And our background was based on education. And that was our pride. In terms of family life, their structures are also basically polygamous, and we too have monogamous marriages. But they live a communal life where they think about one another, and they also share in their ideas. And that is why the crisis in this region has been very tough, because the people think that they are one and they live together as one people. They believe in what they want to do, and they are people who are able to get anything that they want to do because they are hardworking and they are very intelligent people. In terms of where I live now, it's rather unfortunate. We are affected by socio-political crisis that streams very far off at 2016. And the crisis has actually been able to cause lots of damage, lots of destruction, families separated, the economic broken down, education broken down because children cannot go to school. And education is now a factor that one cannot be able to talk about prestigiously, again, because the teachers are killed. Most teachers are killed. And again, there's a high rate of insecurity. But again, what I see is the determination of women and young people to live in the region. They have nowhere to go, and this is their home. They want to be able to forge for peace because it is very much important for them to build the peace and stay in their homes. At the beginning of the crisis, at early 2016, 2017, we didn't know that it was going to be so worst like this in 2020. We thought that it was just going to be some kind of misunderstanding between the government and also the secessionists and those who want to be able to get their freedom. We didn't know that it was going to take us into 4 years of suffering. And at one point, it's been very difficult and hard for us to take a balance, to strike a balance, to talk about the issue of peace in our communities. Because our people are divided. They can't be reasoned straight. There's a lot of gun violence, and there's a lot of harassment and rape. And people cannot be able to talk of peace in this kind of circumstances. But what I want to say is, we will be pleading on our government to find possible solutions, because the women bear the brunt. Families are being separated. Women have lost their husbands. Children cannot go to school, cannot be able to go to our businesses. Our farms have been destroyed. Our homes have been burnt, and we live in pain. And I would stand to say that anyone who dies in the crisis stands to be a child that was born by a woman. And every life matters. All we want is a peaceful atmosphere for dialogue to reign, so that we can all live in harmony and peace. As a peace activist, I feel the pinch, because I stand as a mother. I stand as a community leader, where I find the women that I have been able to work with them for the past 10 years live in abject poverty. They truly cannot be able to eat and take care of their children. Most of them run to us all the time for help. For how long will we be able to go through this kind of condition? There are crises everywhere in the world, we understand. But again, we are standing as women in one voice, in one accord, to say that the problem in Cameroon should be given some consideration. That lots of people have been able to lose their lives. We have thousands of people who have been seeking refuge in Nigeria. We have thousands of women and children who are found in the neighboring cities, and they are living in deplorable conditions. And we have thousands of women and children who are in hospitals taking care of their children and husbands who have been shot. It is such a painful situation to see that a place which used to be very calm, which had lots of resources, we had the beautiful things, we just cannot be able to find it. We are striking the balance as women who want a change, women who want to see their communities thrive, women who want to see their children go to school, women who want to see the conflict stop, because every life matters. And we are calling on the authorities and those who are concerned that dialogue should be the best solution. There is no problem without dialogue.
Yeah.
There's no problem without dialogue.
Yeah. My question would be from you, Adah, that you're talking about a conflict going on in Cameroon, and you talk about the dialogue, right? So could you kindly share a glimpse of the conflict that is happening and the parties who are, just to give the understanding for those who would like to understand Cameroon's political dynamics, of course, that is impacting not only women, children, your social fabric, which is very important, because it's the opportunity where we can learn from each other how the society is facing the challenges. And people like you, very just give us a glimpse of the conflict that is happening right now. Who are the parties? Who are the people? It is political, or it is social, or economic. It's truly
Thank you, Fahad.
Yeah, it's important for us all to know.
Thank you so much. The conflict in Cameroon streams right in colonial days. Cameroon was colonized by the British and the French. If we want to take where Cameroon was, it was colonized by the Germans. And after the First World War and Second World War, Cameroon became a mandated territory under the British and the French. And Cameroon was down partitioned into two sections. And 4 feet of that section was coordinated by the British, and 1 feet, 4 feet by the French and 1 feet by the British. Excuse me for that mix-up. And again, the 1 feet that was coordinated by the British became the English-speaking Cameroon that we have today. And we have 10 regions in Cameroon, and 2 of these regions speak English. That is the Northwest and Southwest. The conflict actually streams in the Northwest and Southwest. And the people of the Northwest and Southwest for a very long time have felt that they have been marginalized in terms of the political, social, and economic structure of the country. And for a long time, they have been agitating for solutions so that they too can be integrated in the reconstruction and construction of their country. And this had been ignored, and it grew for so many years. And the people they now see that this is an opportunity for them to fight back, because we have been under lots of pressure, lots of marginalization, lots of injustice. And so they think that is an opportunity for them to come back to talk. It started as a protest, and from the protest, solutions were addressed by government, and also the measures that have been put in place to see that the conflict actually comes to an end. But these solutions have not truly been able to solve the problems on the ground. The secessionists want a southern Cameroon that is void and independent. And the government doesn't want any separation. And they have been able all this time to see that they put the territory under tension so that they can be able to find a way of solving this problem. But it's yielding to no way, because the people are becoming very hardened, and they are determined to go to the end. So we also have other people who thought that they could also add their voices, and they've moved abroad in the diaspora, where they now influence the war from the diaspora. So they're seeking solutions, they're writing protests, they're causing lots of they're writing lots of papers for the government to react to the plight that they want. At the beginning of it, they thought that federation was the best option. But later on, they saw that the government was not healing for federation. And now they want to secede. And they want an independent nation of theirs. And that is where the problem lies. And so we live in the area where the war and the crisis is taking place. And they need to understand the situation of the women on the ground. I talk on the perspective of the women on the ground. We are talking to politicians, we are talking to those in the diaspora, we are talking to everyone that is involved in peace. That the time has come for us to talk, because so many people are dying, and especially young people, because the fight is being waged by our men who are not very trained, and they are fighting with a trained military from the government of Cameroon. Okay. And so you find that the young men who are not very trained are waging the war, and it's disastrous. As the years go by, they have weapons, they are fabricating their guns, and it's getting worse. How are we going to solve this problem? That is the question we ask ourselves every day. Where are we going to run to? We can't run out of our homes. We are stuck in the middle. And so we are calling on the powers that be, that they should be able to solve the issue on the table. The Grand National Dialogue that came in place, there were lots of recommendations that came. But again, these recommendations have not been implemented. We are looking for to see that we have some some change, but it is getting worse. How do we find, how do I put it, a balance? Because they must come to the table to negotiate and talk about the issue. There is no way we can be able to avoid dialogue. And so the women are passive, they are passively, because there are women who are on the ground whose voices are not heard, but they are walking on the ground. We have lots of people who are engaged in peace, and we want to recognize your efforts and to say, keep working. This is our country. We need to put our hands all on deck to work. We have those of us who have put ourselves to the forefront to talk, that we pray that we do what is right. We are calling on the women, the men who are at the forefront, that I keep saying that the truth shall set us free. And there really cannot be peace without justice. That if you think that you are going to be able to cause pain on people and go free, you wouldn't be able to go free. Because our God that we serve will fight for us. So you need to be able to stand and speak the truth and save a dying population that needs your help. There has been many manifestations by women, and one of those manifestations by women that breathed and gave the space for women was the sit-down lamentation that was organized by me and other women from the civil society and also other women in the community. I think in 2018, when we left from Kodi, in September 7th, we organized the lamentation. And that lamentation has been able to give many women the voice to speak for peace. We had never been able to engage in issues of peace because we were in a very peaceful environment. And so we are creating indulgence on all those who are criticizing our work, that give us the space. We are learning. We want to be able to do it effectively. When you criticize, give the solutions that are needed. Do not throw stones at us, because it is our human right. As women, we must be able to talk. They have been asking for a long time that women's voices have not been heard. What have women been able to do? Some people say what the women in Cameroon know how to do is to cry. No! Cameroonian women are educated. They are strong women. They are intelligent women. And they can be able to turn the tables round. Our work is not to cry, but we used the lamentation as a space for us to talk to the men, to understand that the cry of a woman, of a dying woman, is very important. There are our kids that are killed. There are our husbands that are killed. There are our brothers that are killed. And so we need them to understand us and give us the space. So that was the reason of that lamentation.
Yeah, I think that when we are almost, tomorrow is 21st of September, which is kind of International Day of Peace as well. And me and you, we have collaborated with our partners in Kodi International for hosting this global, which is called as Local Women Voices for Peace. Your presence there is also meaningful, and your presence there as a contributor, as a leader, and while meeting you there is important, because tomorrow it's not only a day, it's just not another day of International Day of Peace. It's just that people like you should be heard. Your voice should be there. So Local Women Voices Peace Conference tomorrow, we are kickstarting together. Me and Adah, we are part of the advisory committee as well, global advisory committee as well. So you can imagine everybody who is hearing us right now, either in Cameroon or in Pakistan, you can understand Adah's work is, while she's just in front of all those challenges. Otherwise, one question that I would like to ask you is that, despite all these challenges and conflicts, I have seen you driving yourself in forward, right? So whenever you establish organizations or you do some work, there's always somebody who's supporting you, right? There's always somebody who is inspiring you. And there's always somebody who has always mentored you, right? So who are the people that Adah always looked up to? It is that little child that Adah has, or a mother, or a father, or husband. who are the figures that you always get inspired from? So people should know that what is driving Adah forward despite all these conflicts and challenges in your country, in your city as well.
That's a wonderful question, Fahad. And I want to say the very first person that has been able to inspire me has been my mother. It's been my mother. And I saw a woman who lost her husband at a very early age, because she lost her husband when she was 26, and she was pregnant, and she had 4 kids to take care of. And I saw how much she put in, how much sacrifice she put in to raise me and my siblings. I think that that gave me a lot of courage, and that is why I am not afraid of any circumstances that I meet in life. But as I grew older and I got into the educational sphere, I met so many women leaders. I've been mentored by many women leaders because I've attended many programs. But again, I have been fascinated by the work of Michelle Obama, and also and Lena Gober, yeah, of Liberia. When Gobi, yes, of peace.
Our
yes.
mutual love. Our mutual love.
And I think when we were at the Coady Institute, Fahad kept reminding me, and I think that we actually have made our dream come true, because Fahad told me someday we are going to meet Lena, and I asked her how. She said, Adah, you look like Lena. I want you to meet this woman in Liberia. And she kept talking, and I decided to Google and to know who this woman was. And I had the opportunity to meet her when she visited in Cameroon, to encourage women peace builders and to give them the strategy on how to engage in peace. And that was a great opportunity for me to learn from a peace activist that she is, and a Nobel Peace warrior that she's been. And I think most of the women look up to her. And what I saw in Lena was her outspoken nature and the truth behind everything that she spoke. She was free in her speech. She had nothing in the cupboards to hide. And she encouraged the women to stand for who they are. And I am that kind of woman who will speak. And I want to live in an atmosphere that is free. I want to speak my mind, not because of anything, but because I believe that the truth shall set us free. Again, exactly. I will want to be able to say that I have been inspired by the work of Helen, our director in Coady, and also Ruby, for the work that they've done in our lives to mentor us as Coady graduates. Helen has been such an inspiration, and I have been watching and looking at that leadership style. Because while at Coady, we were taught lots of leadership styles. and I chose the servant leadership style. And I'm trying to see and learning so much on wanting to get to the position which she is, because she's director of the Coady Institute now, the Women's Institute. And the way she she solves the problem also inspires me. I think I also have another woman who has been so instrumental too, and that has been Naima. Naima did her best to make us fight back. She taught us the values of development, the values of women's engagement. And Coady has been a wonderful institution that has pushed up my leadership skills. I also had the opportunity to go to the United Nations, to the UK, as an international lead fellow, where I also met so many women leaders. and we visited many women institutions. I think that has also been an inspiration to the work. And I realized that in all that we do, we have to be able to add to innovation. We have to get to fight and meet with the challenges in the world. We got to be able to adapt to the changes and not just remain to the concepts that are already in place, because change comes with innovation. And most of the women back at home, I also have other women in my church, other women leaders in Cameroon who are very strong and active, and that I also learn from them. There are many of them, but these ones that I've enumerated are just the ones that come out very clear. But I want to tell every woman that has been part of my journey, every woman that has stood for me, every woman that believes in Adah Mbah, that just keep believing and just keep mentoring, because we shall get there. We shall be able to prove to the world that we are leaders with a different style, leaders that want to see women get the best positions, women voices being heard, leaders that want to be able to fight against gender equality, racial discrimination, violence, gender-based violence, women who want to be able to take the space that they belong to. So I think, Fahad, in a nutshell, that is what I can say. Thank you too.
Yeah. You know, Ifat has also joined us. Ifat, thank you so much. You had remained our anchor in keeping us both sane in whatever we were doing. Ifat, you are great. I must acknowledge you and your own work as well. Radha Podil is also here. Radha, thank you so much for your presence as well. Let us continue having the conversation, ladies. But you know, Adah, you have enlisted all those great women in your life, but you know, there are men also in our lives who had created a lot of spaces as well. We cannot be complete ourselves because there are always feminist men who had supported us all the way through. For example, I have shared with you about my husband, my father-in-law, and everybody who had been part of me and supported me. So, who are the men in your life who had given you the courage to move ahead apart from a lot of women as well, because those men has they have special place in the society. I think they should be given some kind of more recognition of having those, because they are not only shattering the patriarchy but also supporting a lot of women and their sister wives, or there's a support system that we have. Who are the women in your life who had supported you over the years and given you the courage to be Adah that I see always?
Thank you, Fahad. That is a very important question. I will begin to give a lot of appreciation and thanks to those men who have been at the background. I think that I flow more with men than women. But again, I see that the men have a lot of influence in working with women, and we must be able to give them the space. I think one of those important and significant men in my life will be my husband. It will be shocking to some people to understand that that man that I have lived all my life, I think part of my life with, has been a great inspiration. First, he's a very intelligent man. Secondly, he has never disturbed me from going to school, from getting any opportunity. And again, he has been looked upon as his friend, by his friends as a weak man, a man who cannot control his wife, a man who will allow his wife venture in any space. I've gotten all the insults that have been lavished on my husband. But I want to thank him today and to tell him that he's been very inspirational. At the early years of our marriage,
is he listening?
Yes, At the early age of our marriage,
There you are.
it was
No
such a
moment.
challenging moment. Yes, and I went through lots of violence. But again, I thank the Lord for having brought us back and giving us the opportunity to live as husband and wife. And we were blessed with 3 kids. And I live with my husband. I think the basis of my work was because he had to support me get to the spaces where I had the opportunity to meet Fahad in Canada. So I give him
Yes.
great appreciation and honor for that. Not respective of anything, he remains my husband, he remains the father of my children, and he remains a great inspirator. And I want to be able to tell the world today that he is sick, not because of anything. He is sick because he stood for a cause that was just. And in the course of the work that we do, my husband was kidnapped for 5 days, and we went through lots of pain. Not that he's not in his home. I mean, Bamenda, he is in Yaoundé, where he left from hospital. He can't speak well, he can't work. But I know that God is going to take him out. God is going to take him from the pain that he's going through, because he stood for the truth. Those who know him know that he's a man who loved his job and a man who will stand for the truth. But he has suffered ignorantly as a result of the conflict, as a result of bad influence. Again,
Exactly.
the crisis has turned some of us to become the heads of family. I've assumed the position of head of my family now because I have to take care of my kids, I have to take care of my children. And this period has been a period for me to see how much love he has for me, how much support he is able to give me. And I am really grateful to appreciate him this moment. Again, I want to appreciate Mr. Oscar Akum, who actually saw in me the opportunity of becoming a woman leader. He was the first man that gave me the space. He gave me an office space for 1 year free of charge and supported my work. And he was at the background, instigating me to do the work. Whenever I run to him, he would tell me, go back and try again. Life is all about trying and trying and trying again. And I would tell you, the office space that I own today was his formal office. When he was leaving, he told me, Adah, you have to grow. And so I am giving you a bigger space. And do not stop doing the work that you are doing, because I will be there to assist you. And I want to be able to thank him so much. Wherever Orika is, he should know that he's been able to impact my life, and many women would depend on me today. I also want to be able to thank my teacher, my doctor, Dr. Tange Evans. Dr. Tange has always been there for me and has always been there to encourage me. Whatever the situation, he will call me and tell me, you must complete your course. You must go back and finish the work. And I want to tell him today, I am going to finish the work that I've started. I will leave nothing unfinished, Dr. Tange. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being at the background at every stage. Because when I'm falling, he will pop out in the shadow and tell me, Adah, you have to go to school. When you're crying, keep walking. And that has been the powerful message that I've gotten from the men that are behind me. So I think these 3 men are very significant. There may be many others. And if you're one of them, I will tell you, thank you so much. And keep doing the good job. And God will reward you.
Exactly. Adah, thank you so much for sharing with us all those wonderful men in your life, because, it's just not us, as a social structure, as a social animal. Of course, we are dependent on each other, but, it's all depends on who is balancing, who is helping, or who is there to balance the social structure itself? Is a man or a woman or somebody who is supporting each other? So, other over the time period, I have seen your journey steady, moving, and you had also not only achieved. By establishing your own organization, but you had also been a graduate at the International Relations Institute of Cameroon, and later you went to meet me in Cody, which was also a wonderful experience that we had. And I think that our time spent there in 2 months where we were there, we had a lot of soul searching. Others sometimes we sit down all by ourselves, which was 2 months that Cody had given us of soul searching, seeing within us. It's just not only that how they had helped us to, equip ourselves to different techniques, skills. So we had a lot of soul searching within us. So they had created the global change leaders, but at the same times we had looked within as well. So tell us about your experience there in Cody, and how that experience has transformed, because when we were there, we were all by ourselves, and it was antagonization. Nova Scotia is a place where you find a lot of quietness. I must say, because at that time the place is quite quiet, beautiful itself, but as I'm saying, that there's a lot of soul searching. And how was the experience? I will be sharing my own, but I would like to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Fahad, and for taking me back into wonderful and beautiful memories. I think the Cody International Institute has helped to shape my leadership journey. And I'm very grateful to have been a global change leader in 2018. I remember when coming to Cody, I always talked about self, my organization, and I didn't know how to separate myself from that organization. And I remember in the process of training us and giving us the leadership techniques, I was taught that it is not my organization, but it's a community organization. And so anyone can lead in that organization. I think that was what I took first. Secondly, I developed lots of skills and interests in building feminist movements. I got to learn about the knowledge and the concept of feminism. I got to understand what leadership in its entirety with power meant. I got to see certain reasons why patriarchy has been able to keep so many women at the background. And when I left Cody determined. While at Cody, they traced our leadership styles. They traced the roots and wanted to put us on the rail that would be more effective for the work that we do. And I remember in the course of our lessons, one of our teachers would tell me, Ada, you should do politics. And I told her, I don't want to do politics. At this moment, my country is in crisis. I want to add my voice where it is needed. At this moment, the women need peace. We need to talk on issues of peace. We need to talk of issues of effective participation of women into the circle to get their voices more heard in Cameroon. We need to come together as women who want to be able to give a new generation a new look and do the things that have not been done in our generation. And so when I left Cody, I left equipped, I left prepared. And that was the motivation of the lamentation that I was able to carry out in the Northwest with other women. That was my backbone motivation. And when I came, I wanted to see a system, a women's structure that was true, that was real, and that was coordinated by the women themselves. And that is why I plunged myself when I got the opportunity. And those of us who are honest, who understand that I gave in my all to see that women come together. But in the course of it, I always say, gold cannot be gold unless it is gone through fire. I have been able to go through fire through every step that I've taken in my leadership train as a peace actor. And that fire has helped me to shape my views. It's helped me to shape my life. It's helped me to understand the dynamics and the engagement of women at different levels. Because you don't just bring women at various levels to put them together without a concise roadmap and strategy. You have to be able to come up with a clear theory of change to tell us where you are coming from and where you're going to. That's what Cody taught me. What is your reason for bringing the women together? And you have to be purely a woman that seeks to serve and not a woman that wants to be served.
Exactly.
Yes.
Important. Yeah. Another important thing, as we both are, participating, and we are both are part of the advisory committee of the tomorrow's happening of the CODI Local Women Voices for Peace. So what is your motivation? How important it is for the local women voices for peace to be heard, especially, Adah, when we are also celebrating United Nations 1325. And of course, UN has also had anniversary year of 75 years. I mean, it is similar to the fact that your work is quite relatable, and especially when you're also not only in CODI, but you're also moved to become part of this women mediators in the Commonwealth. So these are kind of synchronized, or what you say, similar kind of works that in recognition that you had. So as we are almost tomorrow, we are kickstarting our local women voices peace conference with the opening plenary tomorrow. So how important it is for the local women voices for peace to be heard?
Thank you, Fahad. I think it's such a great opportunity for every woman to engage. I'll begin by saying that the title speaks for itself. Local woman, grassroots woman, you are called so that your voice can be heard. We are facing lots of challenging, and we know what the world is facing now. The coronavirus has been able to limit women's actions, but we are still calling on women living in fragile settings, women living in wonderful settings. Come out and tell us, how does it look like to be that woman that will add her voice in changing the lives of many? The conference is a space for every woman that wants to venture to tell them. It's just a space for us to share our experiences and our stories. Women's stories have to be written by women themselves. If we do not valorize our work, who is going to give us value? It's a space to break the barriers of hate. It's a space to break the barrier of discrimination. It's a space that will enhance women's leadership and development. And so that space is very important because it is starting tomorrow, which is an important day in our lives. The International Day for Peace, which is the 21st of September, is a day where we will all come to share this peace. There cannot be love, peace, togetherness without us having a space to talk about it. So it's an opportunity for us to share our fears, to create a safe space, to network, to get many women to hear our voices. And we are happy we have more than 700 and 800 people who have registered already. And it's such a privilege for us to stand out to talk on what we're doing. So for me, it's a great opportunity. And as CODI graduates, we want to thank the CODI Institute for having chosen us, for having seen us as potential graduates who can be able to assist in this, and for also giving us the opportunity to showcase our work, to talk about the things that matter. I think it's a great privilege for us, and we know that we are going to be able to meet great women. We are going to be able to talk about issues that we really need to talk, like Resolution 1325 it is 20 years gone, and it is an anniversary. It's an opportunity for us to be able to come to the table and talk and see how far have women been able to engage, to effectively participate, to get engaged, especially on issues that concern conflicts. What are women's achievements? What's the achievement? You know? So it's Resolution 3025 is a very important resolution for all the women to come learn. There are also women on the ground who do not even know what Resolution 1325 is all about.
Yeah,
we are celebrating 20 important. Years. Yeah. Why in my country it's barely 2 years when an action plan was adopted. And so we are still struggling to see how to implement strategies on how this action plan can go in effective implementation. And so it's a great opportunity for us to see how much engagement, how much effective participation have women been able to come forth to change the lives of women living in conflict. I think, Fahad, to me, that is just what I want to be able to add.
Exactly. And you know, Mulu has also joined. Remember Mulu, our friend? Mulu has also joined. Thank you, Mulu, for coming forward. Thank you,
Mulu,
for sharing. Yeah. Other, while we are discussing about local women voices, we are also sharing about your own journey. While we move forward, while we have our spaces, we have our successes, right? We do have our failures. We do have our failures, and sometimes we get distracted, we get disappointed. So there's sometimes Adah's life had also a lot of challenges, that I know, but Adah has moved forward with hope, with togetherness, with a vision, right? So what has made you navigate through all these challenges? Are they mentors, or what has made you driving forward? Because you are currently also facing a lot of challenges as well, as you have shared. So what has made you move forward? Because there are a lot of women, young people who might be listening to us, and they might hear that how you are not only facing these challenges, but also you are, moving ahead.
Father, that's a very important question. I think my motivation and most important factor has been myself. The faith in Jesus Christ. Who you are. You need to believe in yourself first before anyone believes in you.
Exactly.
If you don't believe in yourself, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Exactly.
So you are your greatest motivator. You start by encouraging yourself. You start by giving some self-care to yourself. Those who know me, I tell the women, provide self-care because you need it. In every achievement, try to give yourself some important moments and give yourself a pat on the back. I did it. Yes. You know, you are your greatest motivator because it begins in your brains. When you have to be able to control the ideas, to control and understand who you are, then you can move up. There will be challenges, so many challenges, and I'm going through lots of them, but I'm going through them with a smile on my face. I'm going through them because it is a source of learning. Every challenge that comes with a stepping stone in your life. Use the stones to move ahead. And don't stay stuck to the challenges. Try to get the lessons that every challenge comes with it in your life. And do not be discouraged because everyone has got problems. You have people in the world who will tell you that it's been easy. Life has never been easy and it has never been given on a platter of gold. We all need to keep forging ahead. There are going to be people you're going to trust, but those people are going to let you down. There are going to be people you think that will give you the solution, but they will never be the right people to solve the problems that you have. And so you need to be able to stand and ask, who am I? What is my mission here? What am I leaving back to the generation that comes after me? What will I be remembered when I am gone? Because we all have a place. We all have a contribution. Everyone is important in the circle, and no one has to be left out. Our young people are energetic, they are enthusiastic, and we need them. The older generation, they are wonderful because they have a lot of knowledge. But again, we want to beg on you to have patience on us because we are in the middle. We are learning from you. So give us the space and opportunity. It's very important. And again, truth. Yeah. Some of us live a double life. What kind of life do you portray in public? And what kind of life do you have at the back? You should live a life that is real. A life that anyone who sees you, that person will attribute you to that life. You have to be able to accept certain challenges, not because you're weak, but because you have to learn. Learning is the process. We're all in a learning process, and that is very, very primordial. I think exactly. I want to be able to acknowledge all the networks that I am part, especially the Women Mediators Network. That's the Commonwealth Women Mediators across the Commonwealth Women Mediators. That's the women mediators across the Commonwealth. I want to be able to acknowledge my African sisters, my European sisters, my world sisters, for all the support that you've given us in this peace journey, for everything, the space that you provided for us, that I and my sisters in the world, we are grateful. And also to acknowledge our African network that talks about peace, and which I'm also a member, and that has so many of our sisters on board, and which is run by Mama Stella. I will tell you, thank you. We are learning from you. And again, I want to also acknowledge WIF International through Siving Ndumu, because if I'm engaging fully into the peace actions, I can never be able to take away Madame Siving Ndumu out of my story, because I'm one of her mentees. And I want to tell her thank you, that I learned Resolution 1325 from the actions that WIF Cameroon has been able to take, actions that WIF Cameroon has been able to implement in Cameroon. And I will be able to give them that glory for leading me and also getting me to the space that I am today. I will also want to acknowledge the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and all the delegates and directors and everyone that have been able to support us on the work, that you are so wonderful, and that we appreciate everything, every step that you've given us. That in the work that we do it because you are there. I also appreciate all the UN systems that have stood by us, especially in giving us knowledge on prevention, on sexual exploitation and abuse. We got lots of knowledge on GBV, knowledge on how to be able to coordinate some of the clusters on nutrition and also protection. I am very grateful. Not forgetting SEED. Yes, there is also the organization that runs with women with disability. I appreciate you. I appreciate the delegate of social affairs, the regional delegate of social affairs in Bamenda, and the divisional delegate. I appreciate everyone that has been part of our journey, and even MTN Cameroon for giving us the space to do work with them. I appreciate you. I appreciate the Canadian High Commission for giving us the opportunity to carry out actions with the Canadian initiative and local funds that were provided for us. I appreciate the British High Commissioner and especially his entourage for everything and every support that they gave us, especially giving me the space to go study and learn in the UK. Thank you so much. There are so many. And I will tell you, it's been a great journey. It's been a wonderful journey. And Fahad, thank you for giving us this space. I appreciate my Cody sisters. And I am so proud of Fahad and her work. And I keep telling her she's an inspiration. and that we are going to all learn from you, learn from others who are there to also mentor. We all are there as sisters, and we remain sisters. It was not by
Yeah.
error that we came together in Cody, and we are telling all our sisters that join the train and let us show the world that they had a special
Exactly.
batch in 2018 that came to Cody, and that we are going to be able to transform and to put the things that they have been able to teach us, especially what
Exactly.
D taught us on ABC. Huh? I know I'm
Yes.
putting it in practice.
Yes. You
And
know,
also, I'm also
Adah,
giving
Adah,
a great shout out to God, telling him that I'm putting everything that I was taught in practice. Thank you so much.
yes, and you know what? The D and Michelle both are listening to us right now. They have also shared their comments, their love for us as well. Mariam Nazir,
Yes.
one of our colleagues, has also said that she's impressed by your work. Ada, you have also impressed me when I first met you and in our dorm that we were staying together. We were learning from each other. I learned a lot from you, Ada. Thank you so much for your time. In fact, other people like you had and the opportunity that we had in Cody and later, remain in touch together. Actually, it's all about how you get inspired from one person to another. You build together. It's a sisterhood that we are here. So my motivation or creating this space of global woman voices, global woman insight is also to let the people know that who are the wonderful women that I met in my life and who had always remained, inspiring me. And I still remember that how we used to be very naughty in our dorm, how we used to how we used to talk a lot in the coding classes, and how everybody was like calling us the crazy people. And I would like to share with all of my listeners as well that despite our cheeky behaviors, we have also learned a lot from there. We have not only built partnership, we both have Mother of Hope Cameroon has remained our
Yeah.
partner with the Institute of Peace and Diplomatic Studies, and we have also wanted to have this cross-continental, which was rare because people in Africa have their own challenges, but people in Asia, they have
Yeah.
somewhat would not be able to understand that yes, the challenges of humanity are the same, but what we can do is that we can have the cross pollination of learning from each other. So this is one of the reasons that we are here with Ada, with her own persona, her own journey, her own essence, what she's all about. And she's my sister, my mother, who has remained uh, baby. I must say like that. I love you, Ada, for your wonderful work that you have been doing for so many years. I mean, I still remember all wonderful time there in when we were together, and I think that your journey has really inspired everybody who is listening to us right now and will continue listening. So tomorrow everybody will be both be on the opening plenary, on the opening ceremony of September 21st. Coady Institute, together with us at the GCL graduates from across the world, we have came together and supported each other in a sisterhood to have our global, local women voices for peace, where Nobel Women Initiative has also collaborated. We are fortunate enough that on the opening ceremony, Nobel Peace Laureate Miss Jodie Williams has also kindly shared. We'll be sharing the stage with a lot of wonderful women from across the world, including Indonesia, Myanmar, and many other countries. So we will be requesting you and inviting you all to come and join with us and learn from all the local women. It's not just the opening ceremony, but there are global sessions, there are regional sessions, there are skill exercises, sessions are happening at the same time. There are a lot of activities going on. So what I will do is that in this conversation of ours, I'll be putting down together the link to the conference. You can also see on our pages, on our profiles as well. We had shared, so you just just join us in our conversations and see that what are the wonderful women across the world are doing in their own capacities, in their own communities, and how they are building peace. Just like Ada, my friend, who has joined us today from Cameroon. Thank you so much, Ada, for your time and your
Thank you,
wonderful
Fahad.
smile. Keep smiling and stay with me. And we'll say goodbye to everybody. You have to stay with me, okay? So,
Thank you,
good night,
Fahad.
everybody.
But
Good,
thank you,
good
Fahad.
night.
Thank you so much. But I have a last word, Fahad.
Yeah, please go
I
ahead.
want to
Please go
tell
ahead.
the audience that I'm also the coordinator of a women's network which we just created. It's called
Mhm,
WOPEN. That's Women Peace Builders.
mhm.
So it's a new
Okay.
network that is being created in the Northwest region, and we're calling on all women in the Northwest region to join us, to have the space in the conference to talk about the issues that relate to us, and also to say that we also have a West African session, and that we are calling on all to join us on the
Exactly.
24th for that session, so that you will get to understand and get the real stories and the real intervention
From
of women, for women at the forefront in terms of Resolution 1325 and their actions. And I'm giving a big shout to my sisters who have been in the planning committee, and to thank them for their wonderful
exactly.
contributions and for their patience, and that we are all waiting on you. We all know that you all be there to support our session. Come and listen and come and contribute and give us the voice that we need for women in West Africa to be known for their work and achievements. Thank you so much, Fahad.
Exactly. Please join. Yeah, please join them and also learn from them as well that how the women are doing. At the same time, there's also South Asian session is also happening on 23rd with similar kind. So a lot of global sessions and regional sessions are happening. So those who want to study, I mean, those who are doing research, they can come, they can go and register. It's free. There is no cost. You can go and listen to all those voices, ask them questions, and and of course this will be recorded and then later it will be put on the it will be put but you should be there by hearing their voices and then asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you other. You have to stay with me and let's say goodbye to everybody. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you very